And welcome into a brand new edition of Embrace Debate, the only Panther show that you can find amongst major Panther content creators that debates topics specifically to the Carolina Panthers. Kind of a first take setup we got going here, but we got heavy hitters that are going to be doing the debating. I am your host, Desmond Johnson. I am joined by two heavy hitters, regulars for the program from the four-man rush, Monty Fetti on the show, and from the Carolina Cat Chronicles, Cody Lachney on the show. You can participate throughout the live show. Follow the Keep Pounding Podcast Network on Twitter, on Facebook. On Twitter, it's at KP_FFSN. And you can follow the Fans First Sports Network, which powers this network. Shout out to everyone that's been asking, where you guys at, what's been going on. We've been trying to put together a show the past couple of weeks. Life got in the way. Training camp got in the way. Both Cody and Monty both went down to Spartanburg. I'm thinking about going down next Wednesday for Panthers and Jets open practices. Mr. Aaron Rodgers comes into town. Muscles Marinara checking in. I saw my man hit me on Twitter. What's up with this sub place that they hit us up on? What's the deal?
Incredible, man. So we went there. Yeah, that's our guy, man. We went and filmed the first ever live edition of the C3 Panthers podcast at Monster Subs and Grubs. That's my guy, PJ. Incredible food. One of the best cheesesteaks I've had in years.
Oh, say less. I'm gonna go ahead and go now.
yeah,
that's a weakness of mine. If you got a good cheesesteak,
man.
So
we
made
the peppers, high quality beef.
Ooh, okay. I might make an appearance Wednesday. I'm still trying to work it out. Might go down with my pops. Spartanburg's about a 2.5 hour drive for me in Kernersville, so just have to look at the calendar and see what's popping. But I'm thinking about going down there. Monty, what's happening, brother? How you doing, man?
What's going on, fellas? Hey, man. I've got a nice tan working from my weekend at camp, so I'm still trying to recover from that tan. I'm gonna be there tomorrow on Sunday. So yeah, man, I'm blessed, brother. I'm glad to be back here for another episode, man.
Well, and I've got a nice sunburn. So.
Cody, a celebrity, man. Cody, I saw Cody in about 45 pictures down in Spartanburg.
Dude.
Charlotte Observer did an article. Yeah,
dude,
man.
Cody was coming down he was coming down with the little breezeway, and everybody had stopped. Like, oh, there goes Cody, man. It was like Cody is a celeb, bro.
Yeah, man. I love it.
Man, it was cool, man. Got to meet Monty for the first time. That was dope. Got to meet a bunch of people. Thank you to everybody that stopped and said hello and wanted to take pictures, man. It's been a great week, man. I'm hyped up and ready for Panther football.
And we got before we get into the debate topics, and I picked a few for us to get into today. Since both have seen these players up close and personal now, they've been in Spartanburg. I do want to get their opinions on what it was like to be there in person. And they actually have us on the TV at Monster Subs right now. So shout out to Monster Subs for the love. I'm getting convinced. I'm thinking I might have to do this. Even the wife was like, "Yeah, they're free tickets. Why don't you just drive on down there?" So I'm got the green light from wifey. I really don't have an excuse. So you'll probably see me in Spartanburg eating a cheesesteak next week. I wanted to get into, while I'm putting these topics in, give me your perceptions of being at Spartanburg at Wofford College. And I wanted to start off with Cody because it was his first time going there. Yeah. Monty goes pretty much every year. Cody, give me your perceptions of actually being there and seeing everything happen. Skylar Callahan, my co-host on Believe in Carolina Panthers, who's the beat writer for Sports Illustrated for the Panthers, I think last week right when they just got started, we put out like a viral video that basically Skylar's explaining where the fans should go to get the best experience at Spartanburg. And he's even pointing out specific white tents to stand by and to listen to the coaches and things of that sort. What was your experience, Cody, in terms of going down there and being able to be there, in person?
Yeah, man. So as soon as we got there, we went right under this big tent that they had sectioned off. And, of course, the day that I go, the Panthers are practicing on the far side field instead of the near side field. So it was kind of a little bit hard to see. But, overall, I felt that like the team looked good. Then on Saturday, went to Gibbs Stadium. That was awesome, man. Met so many fans. And then looking at the team, man, I was surprised by the defense. I think the defense is a lot faster and aggressive coming out the gate than a lot of people thought they would be. And, man, some of the receivers I'm very impressed with. We'll talk about that. I know that's one of your questions coming up here soon. And then, Bryce and his pocket presence. The way he navigates the pocket, takes those subtle side steps one direction or another, never taking his eyes off the intended target. keeping his eyes downfield. I'm seeing a lot of good things out of this team right now, and Spartanburg is awesome. It is so hot down there, y'all. They do not exaggerate when they say it might be the hottest place in America when it comes time for Panthers to train. But I had a great time, man. I'm hoping to make it a yearly thing where make a pilgrimage to Spartanburg. I'm in Charlotte, so it's only an hour and a half away from me, so
Oh yeah,
it's not that bad of a drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can get there, hang out with my people, and watch the Panthers. Man, I had a great time.
Now, Monty, I think it might have been day one, day two. Video you shot from like the stands went viral. Like everyone started like taking it. I saw some people didn't tag you on that video, but it was like I think it was a Bryce Young pass or something like that.
Yeah, Bryce
yeah,
Young.
yeah. Tell me a little bit about what you've been seeing, because you're kind of OG at this point in terms of going to the training camps down at Wofford. You've been up multiple times. Tell me the difference between this year and previous years when you've gone down there in terms of the feel and the vibe.
Yeah, it's definitely a different vibe, man. And like you said, I've probably been going every year since the 2017 season, if I'm not mistaken. I know I didn't go make it down to the 2015 year, but I know from 2017 on, I've probably gone every year. And it's a different vibe. It definitely reminds you of Cam. When Cam was here, especially I wasn't there when Cam his rookie season for training camp, so I don't know how the experience was there, but or then, but it just reminds you of Cam when you're there. A lot of fans every day as as the week went on, fans just started to pile in more and more. The excitement that was there, the intensity was there. Of course, I didn't make it, so it'll be my first day for pads tomorrow and Sunday. So this will be my first time seeing them in pads since training camp has started. But yeah, right, which I'm excited to see them. Definitely. We hear the pads popping, but it was dope, man. Cody is not lying; it is definitely hot. Definitely one of the hot. And this is the funny thing, because I was hearing people on Twitter saying, "I bet y'all are exaggerating." And about 2 years ago, I could say, what, we may have been exaggerating a little bit. It wasn't that hot this year. I think it's like record breaking. Like, yeah, it was like every year it got a day like a degree hotter. And dude, it's like you felt it. It was like, oh yes, 97 today, not 96.
Yeah, so, the heat index was like 105 or something. At some point.
Dude,
so yeah.
It was, and then, I've made a joke now. I've kind of made it like a yearly tradition. I wear sweatpants one day out of there, and I totally regretted it. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's wild, bro.
Oh, dude, totally sweat out there, dude. It was hot. But man. But Bryce is well as advertised. Me and Dunk, and shout out to my guy, my guy Aaron. I'm sorry. With Dunk or whatever, however you name him. I feel like me and him both were sitting there falling out our chairs at one point, because it's like, dude, Bryce he doesn't look like a rookie quarterback. He comes in there, he automatically, reads. He's so smooth, with his with reading, going in and out of his reads, just transitioning, how he reads or maneuvers in the pocket. Like, dude, I'm glad we're having this episode today, bro, because I have nothing but good things to say about Bryce. And yeah, man, the energy is there. I'm very excited to be out there tomorrow. And got my sweatpants ready for tomorrow as well.
See, that's the thing too. That's the narrative that we were actually talking about this on Believe in Panthers last week too, where it's like the thing that's throwing me off, and we're gonna get into these questions here. The thing that's throwing me off is that I haven't really heard anything bad about Bryce Young. Everything has been good, and now the national media is starting to realize what's happening. Like I saw Bucky Brooks pretty much predicting the Panthers are gonna win the South. I think Good Morning. What is it? Good Morning Football or whatever, NFL Network. Mm-hmm. A couple of them have picked the Panthers to win the South. It's gotten to a point where we're not sneaking on the radar anymore because of the performances of Bryce at these training camp practices, where he just doesn't feel like a rookie. Like, he doesn't sound like a rookie. It feels like he's acclimated to the team. The team has gravitated to him in terms of leader, follower type thing. He's that dude. Like, he's him. Like, a lot of people walk around saying that they're him. He's him. Like, he really, really is. And like, he has this confidence thing going on with him that's like, it's almost opposite of Cam. Cam, he wore his outside. Like, he wore his confidence like a costume, pretty much. Like, you saw it, Bryce is more subdued. What's the word I'm looking for? He's humble, but he's cocky. Like, he knows he's good, but he doesn't have to like walk around saying I'm good. You know what I mean? He's
I call it calm like a bomb.
yeah, that works.
He's poised, bro. He's poised, but bro, once he's on that field and he explodes with one of those big plays, man, it's really a sight to see. And I think that's something else that's surprising too. Like a lot of people expected Bryce to run this dink and dunk kind of offense, and yeah, there was that. But man, he does not hesitate to pull the trigger on a deep downfield throw when he has the opportunity to do so.
And he can do it. He literally,
Yeah,
he's got an arm.
absolutely.
Like people were saying, like he didn't have an arm to do it with or something, but
Right.
he really does. He does have an arm to do that with. So we'll see about the about all that. I think Monty might have got a call or something because his phone went mute all of a sudden. Monty, if you can hear us, you probably need to log out, log back in. If somebody called you on your phone.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I just had myself on mute. I apologize.
Oh, okay, cool. Shout out to Twandon, who does a lot of Panther content on YouTube, saying you got to get on this show. Yeah, we'll get Twan on sometime in season as a guest, and we'll have him on the debate table too. So that's actually something cool that we can look forward to. Thanks to everybody that's stopping by. Carolina House, Bryce is a hidden gem. Anthony Brown, good morning. Muscles marinara. Spartanburg is Latin for hell's waiting room. From the sounds of it, yeah. I think I'm just going down there with a couple of short sleeve shirts and some shorts, and I should be. It's a lot of water, and I should be good to go. Let's get into some of these questions. Now that you guys have seen these players up close and personal down in Spartanburg, I kind of tailored the questions surrounding that. So, really, debate question number one: which wide receiver do you think has the best shot to break out this season after watching them live at Wofford? Because I've seen a couple of them make some moves. I got one guy in the top of my head that I didn't think I was going to be thinking about, but I want to get your opinions first. Cody, let's start off with you. What wide receiver stood out for you while you were down there?
Man, and I'm going to be honest. He's number one, and number two isn't even close. I feel like it's DJ Chark. Man, let me tell you, anytime you saw a big play in this offense, most times it was happening because of DJ Chark. And you really, he's had a lot of injuries in his past. So I feel like because of that, people sleep on his game and what he's capable of doing. But people forget, man, that this dude is 6'3", runs a 4.3, is tall. I mean, he has a long wingspan. And dude, he is not afraid to go up and get the ball, man. And his route running is so precise. I mean, I would even say surgical, man. Like, I know the clip that Monty posted on day one, man, Bryce hit him in stride, and he was right in between a corner and a safety. And everything about it was just perfect, man. And, like, if you follow the Panthers Twitter, like, anytime you see, like, a big play highlight, more than likely the ball is going to DJ Chark. And
right, yeah.
To the point where it even has me wondering if DJ Chark is the number one wide receiver in this offense right now.
I think he might be, like the way it sounds. Monty, let me get your opinion before I chime in. What wide receiver flashed for you? Because you were down there multiple days. Was it Chark or was there anybody else besides him? Who's the wide receiver that you're looking at right now to have a breakout season?
Yeah, I think the easy answer, or the one like Cody said, the one that I think everybody's kind of been gravitating to is DJ Chark. He's had the most splash or the biggest splash plays, from camp, and consistently seems like every single day he's making a splash play there. So yeah, I'm very excited, and I agree with Cody. I wasn't expecting, what probably the biggest thing that surprised me was his 50-50 ball. He's very good at the 50-50 ball that I wasn't expecting coming into it. So I think that, of course, the easy answer is Chark. I'm going to say LaVisca as well. I think the way they're going to be using LaVisca this year, it really looks like, what we saw with Curtis Samuel back in 2020, looks like they're going to be kind of, emulating a lot of the same things. I really want to see what he's going to do as a runner. I think that he's definitely going to be, a part of that power run scheme or that power run game that we were looking to add there. So I'm excited. Yeah, I think LaVisca is going to, have a breakout year, but I'm really wanting to see what, DJ Chark, if he's going to make that next step or get back to that Pro Bowl level that he had, back in Jacksonville.
Yeah, Chark was my guy too. In terms of what I've been seeing on Twitter and maintaining the Keep Pounding Twitter account, I kind of retweet a lot of content stuff from organic content creators that are down there. I don't remember us being able to have this much footage when Matt Rule was here? Like, was there a restriction or something? I don't remember there being this much content coming out of Panther camp.
Yeah, they were too busy running up to touch the DBO sign to actually be practicing, man.
Yeah, I think they do still have a rule in place when you're out there. So for anybody that's going out there this weekend or next week, they do kind of still have a rule in place where they don't want you recording. But I think as long as you aren't live streaming practice, and I think that's kind of what was the thing that was around camp was their fans live streaming practice.
Oh, like the whole thing.
Right. So so if as long as you're not doing that, because for me and Dunk, we were there recording and security walk past us a few times, and they didn't really give us a hard time about it at all. Yeah. So I think it's just kind of more play it by ear, and as long as you aren't streaming the whole practice, you should be fine.
Yeah, as long as you ain't getting paid from Bill Belichick or something out there, just kind of copying everything and shooting everything out.
I did want to echo a little bit of what Monty said. They were not playing around when they said they intend to use Laviska Shenault like Deebo Samuel. I mean, man, they were lining him up in the backfield. They were motioning him out to the slot. Like, it really just seems like he's going to be weapon X for the offense this year. And
they played with that.
6'2", 230. He's going to be a very versatile weapon for the Panthers this year.
He came back cut too. I saw a picture of him on Twitter like 2 weeks ago. He's chiseled. But
shredded.
Yeah, I like him in that Debo type role, or almost kind of like I don't want to say a poor man's Christian McCaffrey, but kind of sort of, because you could use CMC the same way, where you can motion him out of the backfield. He was one of the better route runners in the league, playing running back. And Laviska is kind of that old school flanker kind of position where it's like a hybrid wide receiver or running back. You can kind of line him up wherever, and he's a problem to defend in terms of trying to figure out. It's a mismatch almost every time, because you're going to either linebacker's got to pick him up out of the backfield and he's going to blow by him, or he's going to end up in the secondary somewhere and he's going to be bigger than whoever it is that he's jumping over. Like, I like what they're doing, and I love the fact that everyone has forgotten. Well, not everyone's forgotten. Most of the mainstream media, they've forgotten the coaching staff that these players have to bounce things off of. This is an all-star cat, like just on the offensive side.
Yes.
With, Caldwell and Thomas Brown, Frank Wright, and Josh McCown, and all. I mean, we probably got I'd say maybe 3, maybe 4 future head coaches on this staff, like right now, like 2 or 3 of them interviewed this year for head coaching positions. So, I mean, there's a lot of people have been trying to tell me to temper my expectations, but the more I'm watching and seeing everything, I'm refusing to. I'm like, no, I've struggled for too long following this team and having to report on this team and going through the dark times to not be ecstatic and happy that I'm seeing what I'm seeing. Because Frank Wright told us. He told us he had a plan, and they were going to execute it. And it's refreshing to see the plan, just the boxes just get checked off. Like, did this, did this, and it's all working. So it's kind of crazy that it is. But yeah, Chalk was up there with me. I've seen people say we can't win anything without a number 1 wide receiver. My thought has always been, if Frank Wright and Thomas Brown and these guys are watching these wide receivers every day, and they don't feel the need to go sign a DeAndre Hopkins or something, like they're not that nervous about it, then why should I be? Why should I be nervous about it? They feel like someone's going to come out of that room, and it might be Chalk. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go forward here too. You can join us here as people are coming in. Thanks for the shout outs from everybody. You can join us. Just comment in the YouTube section. It's youtube.com/@ Tobacco Road Sports Radio. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for us. Do us that favor. We're trying to get over 1,000 subscriptions before the season begins. And you can type in your comment there. You can type in on Facebook Watch on the Tobacco Road Sports Radio Facebook page. Donald Duck says, if Golden Corral balls out in preseason, would a team like the Las Vegas Raiders make a trade for him? I think Golden has a shot of being a starter in Vegas, to be honest, or will we keep him until next year? It's actually a pretty good segue, because that's actually one of the questions that we have for today. If you were the general manager, if you were Fetti, what would you do with Matt Corral? You got 3 quarterbacks sitting in the room right now. We already know what's happening with Bryce. Andy Dalton came in to basically be that safety net. And then you got Matt Corral. He wasn't drafted by this coaching staff. He was drafted by Scott Fitterer, though. Missed all of last year with a broken foot in preseason. So we still haven't really seen him with live bullets. But from my understanding, he's been looking pretty good. You guys saw him down at training camp. What were your thoughts of Matt Corral, and what would you do with him? Monty, let's start off with you on that one.
Yeah, I think that's kind of been one of the questions floating around at training camp as well. What I think was the future for Matt Corral. It's hard to say, and I've kind of floated around with my answer with this as well. Me and Cody actually spoke about it at training camp. I think as of right now, you got to see, you got to get them on the field for preseason games. You got to see what you got with them. It's hard to see that, or hard it's pressed to say that he's going to beat out Andy Dalton in a backup quarterback position right now.
Yeah.
And that's just the thing. Andy has looked sharp over the last, especially this week with pads. Andy Dalton has looked real good. With this past week, and he's looked sharp. I feel like he's definitely kind of closed that, or made a bigger gap than what we initially thought it was going to be for that backup role between him and Matt Corral. And as much as I was high on his upside, with drafting Matt Corral, I didn't think that this coaching staff was going to be connected to him. This is another reason why I think that you got to, kind of got to see what you have with him, because we just don't know. He missed all of last year with the injury. He doesn't have much film, and the little film that we have, it hasn't looked great. So I think you got to play him to see if you could potentially trade him. I would definitely like to see him here, be here for another year. See if we can get him as to potentially take that backup role from Andy Dalton. But then again, Andy Dalton also is on a multi-year deal here as well. So I just don't think that I'm pressed for the fight over a quarterback too at this point. So yeah, man, I think he hasn't looked bad. I just think he's kind of been dealt a crap hand, and it probably might be best to deal him.
Cody, your thoughts on Matt Corral? 'Cause I know you've been pretty high on him, right?
Yeah, man, I've been a big Matt Corral fan for a long time, and part of the reason why is I just feel like last season he didn't really even get a chance to show what he was able to do. Being buried with the fours behind PJ Walker, and I feel like he's kind of in the same situation now. Like if he was getting reps with the ones, maybe we would see a better version of Matt Corral. But the fact that he's kind of being buried, it's just I mean Andy Dalton. That's another thing. Andy Dalton has looked really good.
Andy Dalton's not a bad quarterback.
Yeah,
He's never
dude,
been a bad quarterback.
I was at Fan Fest, and he threw a bullet to DJ Chark, and Chark caught that thing. It was a spectacular play. When it comes to Matt Corral, I just want what's best for Matt. Like that, I'm kind of two different mindsets on this, right? Like on one hand, the Panthers played 4 quarterbacks last year, y'all. Like that's a real thing. We played 4 quarterbacks, and now that they have this rule that they'll allow you to suit up another quarterback, just for safety purposes, I would kind of feel more comfortable to have Matt on the team. However, let's just say they put him in preseason, and Matt balls out, and he looks really good and does some nice things. Especially with how injuries happen in the NFL. If another team is willing to give us some draft capital for him, maybe that's too much to pass up on. Now if it's a 6th or 7th round pick, I mean, you're talking about a player that might not make the team anyway. So I don't even know how much you would get for Matt Corral in a theoretical trade. But yeah, I'm at the point now that if they can send him to a place where he has a better opportunity to potentially be a starter, then yeah, man, go ahead. We'll rock with Bryce and Andy Dalton.
That might be the plan, because I thought I saw that the plan was Matt Corral's going to get the majority of the snaps in preseason.
Yeah,
like Dalton and Young weren't going to really play. I'm like, yo, don't put Bryce Young on that field at all. I don't need to see him in preseason. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't either.
There's no need. Like, just let him sit and watch. If Dalton wants to get some snaps, that's cool. But yeah, let Matt Corral play, because then he gets to play with the ones, and he gets to play with these other ones, increase his value. He's on TV. You get to see him. Like you said, injuries happen in the preseason all the time. I'd probably trade him at this point. Well, depending on how he performs, he probably get a mid-round pick for him. Who's a 2nd-round pick?
Yeah, so we moved up into 3rd.
Yeah. So I mean, you could probably get a 4th for him at this point. I mean, still serviceable, very young. Had high reviews for him coming out of college. And now he's had a training camp with the quarterback whisperer, Frank Wright, and Thomas Brown, and Jim Caldwell, who's another quarterback whisperer. Like, there's no telling what this dude's going to look like by the time we get to week 1. Yeah. So I've seen people say we should put him 2nd string quarterback over Andy Dalton. And again, Andy Dalton is not a bad quarterback. Like, I feel even better about having the situation when Andy Dalton is the backup. And I love how Frank Wright did this. He didn't stretch this out. The past 3 seasons we've had around this time of the year, we don't know exactly who the quarterback is. And Matt Rule kind of stretched it out and made it it was almost like it felt like he was making the whole thing like it felt like college. Like it felt like every position was a competition, and like they never had the cohesion as a team because they were always competing against whoever was behind them, like in the depth chart. This year, it feels like everyone's role is assigned. Like they all know what they're supposed to do, from starters to backups to whatever. And because of that, they're able to build this cohesion. And you're seeing the young guys talk to the old guys and get opinions and advice and stuff on how to do things. And the older guys are receptive to it, and vice versa. And it's like this culture they've begun to build. Another thing too that I noticed, they've invited a lot of former Panthers back, and that was not there the past 3 or 4 years, where you're walking around, all of a sudden you see Steve Smith walking around on the sideline, or Thomas Davis, or Stu told me he's going to be there Wednesday. So I mean, the former players are circulating back around the team. Yeah, Kuechly. It feels good to see that they're rebuilding the culture with the Frank Wright and a Dom Capers, and guys who were here from the very, very beginning. So that's a good look there. But yeah, with Matt Corral, I don't know if he'll be on this roster by the time we get to this point next year, but hopefully we maybe get something out of him. Speaking of QB1, what is Bryce Young's ceiling? I saw on NFL Network last night, I was watching clips on YouTube, and one of their analysts was like, he's the best quarterback in the NFC South right now. That's why he was picking the Panthers to win the division. And I sat back and I thought about it, and I was like, is he the best quarterback in the division? You got Desmond Ridder in Atlanta, Baker Mayfield in Tampa, and Derek Carr in New Orleans. Would you take Bryce Young over Derek Carr?
Absolutely.
Would you take Bryce Young over Desmond Ridder?
Without
heartbeat.
Would you take Bryce Young over Baker Mayfield?
Absolutely.
Bro, don't even ask me that, Desmond. That's wild.
Would you take him over Jameis Winston?
Absolutely.
So once you get to that conclusion, it's like, well, that's not that far-fetched. He is the best quarterback right now. Like, that's the question. Is he the best quarterback in the NFC South right now?
So the only thing I'll say is this, right? If you're a Saints fan, I can understand how you'd be a little perturbed, right? Derek Carr has been in the NFL for 10 years
like
now.
9 years, yeah.
Yeah. And they're thinking that if they put a good team around him, that he is, more than capable of getting the job done. But you asked what his ceiling is. I've been on this for a while. I think he's the number one candidate for the Offensive Rookie of the Year. His level of preparedness is just absurd, man. He does not have the mentality of a rookie quarterback. The fact that he came from a pro-style offense at Alabama, you have multiple tenured NFL head coaches like Nick Saban, like Bill O'Brien, telling you that this is one of, if not the smartest quarterback that we've ever been around. Keep in mind, Bill O'Brien coached Tom Brady. So the dude is beyond his years, and that's why you draft him number one, especially being 5'10", 200 pounds. The fact that you draft that guy number one means that he has a special quality to him that is, it's different than any other quarterback. And knowing that we have the type of receivers that we do, a lot of yards after the catch receiver, we're not necessarily built to have a number one wide receiver. We're going to spread the ball around, which is what Bryce did at Alabama. So I'm very excited about his prospects. The division is not very strong. And, I think Bryce is about to go off this season, man.
Monty, what are your thoughts on Bryce? Is he the best quarterback in the NFC South right now?
Hey, but I totally agree with Cody. I think that he's in probably the best situation of all four quarterbacks. I can understand and respect the argument for Derek Carr. I think that we are in, when you just look at the totality of our offense, totality of the roster from defense and offense, I think that, Bryce is kind of in the best situation. The division is I think it's going to be a 2-team race, between us and New Orleans. I don't think Ridder, I wasn't high on Ridder last year, and I don't think that, from everything that I've seen on Twitter, I don't believe that's going to change my opinion much. I don't think Ridder is going to, a great quarterback. I think we all know the story of Baker Mayfield, and I've seen the comments where Baker may not even start.
Yeah.
So I definitely think he's the best quarterback in our division, or potentially is the best quarterback in our division. If the question is also what is his ceiling, I think that he could potentially be a top 5 quarterback, in the next 2 years, 2-3 years. Especially how we build the roster. If DJ Chark takes that next step and you add another weapon, or you add another piece on both sides of the ball, you could potentially say, hey, you got one of the best rosters in the NFC, not just the NFC South. So so I think we're in a great position, with his coaching staff. with the way Bryce Young plays quarterback, and again, like Cody hit it on the head, man. He just plays the position like he's a 5-year vet, and he's primed to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year. I definitely could see that happening. So yeah, man, I think that if we can stay healthy, I think we got a position or a chance potentially to run away with this division.
I've said it on Believe in Carolina Panthers. I may have said it on here. I've said it on other shows I've had to be on. To me, the best case scenario for Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers is that Bryce Young becomes the Steph Curry of the NFL. And by that, I mean, when Steph came into the league in the NBA, he was considered too small. They were saying his shot wouldn't work, like that. You're not gonna be able to do that in the NBA, that kind of thing. And what ended up happening, he changed the game. He literally changed the game at every level from NBA to high school, where now all of a sudden you got 6'1" guards coming across half court and shooting threes. And he hates the fact that he gets attributed to that, because many people feel like it's ruining the game. I kind of blame more James Harden and Dame Lillard and those kind of guys for the influx of kids doing it. But you see a kid like Steph Curry doing it, and you're like, he looks just like me. He's not LeBron. He's not 6'9", 250, like chiseled, God-created type of player. He's like a regular dude you see at the Y, and he's jacking threes from 40 feet out. Like it just looks crazy. And Bryce is similar in terms of, you see him do a play and you forget that he's 5'10", 200, hopefully at this point. So it's like, it's the same kind of logic. So if this works, and that's the thing that's throwing me off, because again, I haven't heard anything negative about Bryce really this entire time. Everything's been pretty much positive, glowing reviews. If this works out, he leads the Panthers to division title, rookie year, playoffs, whatever it might be, he has an opportunity to follow the same path Steph did in the NFL, where all of a sudden, I see it all the time. I do a bunch of high school football here. You're going to see a lot of 5'9", 5'10" quarterbacks, which actually already happens in high school football, but usually get moved once you move up to college. If you're good enough, they move in wide receiver, they move in running back because they feel like they're too short. Bryce has a chance to change the paradigm where that's not the case anymore. If you got talent and you're 5'10" or whatever, you can stay a quarterback. You can play quarterback. He has the chance to change the game, in my opinion. That's his ceiling to me. He can be a transcendent player, like in NFL history, where we think about the game differently because of this kid. And I know it's a lot to put on his shoulders, but it feels like he can handle it. It feels like he's been built for this. Like he's been doing this since high school. He started at Mater Dei in California. Like they're like the top high school program
he's
in the country.
Been a winner everywhere he's been.
Yeah.
I mean, he went to Mater Dei, then Alabama, and was a winner everywhere that he's been. And you're right, those are lofty expectations, but that comes with the territory of drafting a 5'10", 200-pound quarterback. If you're going to move up for him, he has to have a special quality that just radiates from him. And when you listen to his teammates talk about him, it just seems like he has whatever that is, that it factor. He has it in abundance, man.
Yeah, I agree. And the players have said that. I think it wasn't Icky. It was it might have been Bozeman that was getting interviewed.
Did y'all see the clip of Bozeman? It was like he's already giving presentations on protections.
Yeah.
He's teaching everybody else how to play ball, man.
Bryce coming in with the PowerPoints. Good. Yeah, I love it.
I love it.
But he, I think one of them was saying something like, you can tell he's different because the huddle presence, like when he comes in to give the play, they've been huddles before where players are still kind of talking about the last play or whatever, and they're not listening. When he comes into the huddle to say the play, everyone shuts up. Like that's different. Like there's only a few quarterbacks that command that kind of respect, and he's commanding it right now at age, 21, 20? How old is Bryce? 21, 22?
Yeah, I think 21. And I think another thing that we haven't spoke of, man, they've echoed this from day one since, from OTAs. We're talking about Brian Burns said that, he felt like he, excuse my language, he said he thought that or that Bryce was the shit back before, training camp even started. So I feel like, he's carried himself that way his entire career, and it's done nothing but show on the field, and I think that's the biggest thing that we don't speak of as well. He's well versed. I feel like the intelligence of how he plays the quarterback position from the pocket is, we're talking about transition and and changing the position there. I think that already he's kind of started to make that change, because again before all the way up until the draft day everybody was saying he's too small. We don't know if he's going to be quarterback one. We don't know. But now here, just a couple months later, we're saying, dude, he's the best quarterback in the division.
Yeah.
play.
Without even blinking, we're like, yeah, he might be the best quarterback in the division.
Right. So, so I think already we can look and say, Bryce is, I think, man, is the biggest thing. And I think all of us have said that is health. If we can keep Bryce healthy, dude, Bryce is going to be primed to be a very, very good quarterback. I honestly, and I hate to say it now, it's too early. We're going to be having these conversations, Bryce versus Cam, in a couple of years. And I feel like that's just a testament of how good Bryce is. So, yeah, I mean, dude, I can't wait to get back out there tomorrow and really see how he looks with pads on. He's been firing the ball, all over the field since the pads have come on. And I'm excited, man.
Justin Long says Steph is 6'3", has had a shooting coach since he was 5 years old with a dad that played in the NBA. Steph is not like anyone at the Y. I didn't mean a skill level. I meant like when he walks in, like when you first see him. Like if you saw Steph Curry at age 19 walking into the YMCA, you had no idea you were about to get shelled for 45 points from 30 feet out.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like you had
even
no
now,
clue what was about to happen.
It's like even now when you compare him to other like specimens in the NBA, it's like, dude, when he is built differently. I mean, even comparing him to like guys like Jason Tatum. Like Jason Tatum's what 6'6",
6'7", 6'8".
Yeah, like Jason Tatum looks like a ball player. And not saying that Steph Curry doesn't. But Curry, like you said, you can see him. You guys are built like him every day at the Y.
Yeah, it's not like he's some superhero looking like. Exactly. I mean, he's like a regular dude at Food Line. Like if I walk past him, I would think, oh, he's athletic, but
and to come off the floor and give you 60, it's like, I get you.
And Justin's like, Allen Iverson is the comparison. Nah, I see where you're trying to go there, but Iverson didn't change the way we play basketball at all levels. That was my point. Steph changed how when I watch high school basketball. Well, try to watch a college basketball game today and count how many threes are shot in that game. Like literally, Iverson didn't do that. Iverson didn't make it
the way young people play ball.
Yeah, I think changed all of it. Like it's now outside in.
To be fair, I think Iverson may have. He may have changed the position of how you look. I mean, because there was at one point how especially point guard, how you play point guard, people try to emulate just what Allen Iverson would do, especially from a culture standpoint. I think Allen Iverson is
that. I'll give you, culture wise in terms of fashion, that I will give you. But like he didn't change the game. Like we're not feeling the effects of Allen Iverson 20 years later, like in the game. Like I can watch the game and go, oh, that kind of looks like AI a little bit.
I'd argue Russell Westbrook is a common or I think I wouldn't say that, man. I think Allen Iverson definitely has his handprint all over today's game as well. But to your point, I think it's two totally different reasons why. I don't think that I think it better if we're going NBA comparison to NFL, it's got to be Steph or Chris Paul. Chris Paul will be the more comparable player there from size, even because Chris Paul, he changed the game for a point guard perspective, in my opinion.
You don't watch NBA, Cody, at all? Like
I do not watch back.
Man,
I watch ball when it gets to the finals every year. I like watching the best teams play. If the Hornets ever get good again, I might become.
Just don't hold it.
Give them a couple years. If they can keep the core together, I think with them signing LaMelo and all that stuff. Well, honestly, the NBA don't matter. They signed LaMelo to like $260 million. He can ask for a trade tomorrow.
I'm not going to hold my breath for the Hornets.
Yeah, man. The Hornets have burned me enough. Long, I jumped ship after the Bobcats, man.
Bro, I'm a caveman, dude. I need my sports to have violence. I like MMA. And I like football, man. That's about as far as my repertoire goes.
But I mean, it's a debate maybe we can have for another day in terms of the Steph Curry, Bryce Young thing, and plus we got to see Bryce in live action to see if this is even feasible. but yeah, in terms of the size debate, Justin, we're kind of talking about how they both were perceived to be too small for their positions, and Steph ended up changing the way we think about that. And like nobody talks about Steph's size anymore, like ever. Like, and plus he's in year 9, year 10, he's been lifting weights. So he's not the little scrawny dude anymore. But when he first came in.
As someone who isn't really a basketball fan, I like the fact that they are comparing him to Steph Curry. Because what it means is that this guy has an opportunity to change the game. And I think that's a big deal. So I love the comparison.
The reason why Blake Griffin went before Steph, that was the same draft that Blake Griffin went number 1 overall, and Steph went like 9, I believe. The Knicks could have drafted him and drafted oh my gosh, the guard from Syracuse. They're regretting it to this day, but yeah. So we'll see. That's the ceiling for me for him. Now it's going to take a lot to get to that point. I'm seeing a lot of Isaiah Thomas comments in the thing too. I don't know if Isaiah Thomas changed the game. He was a winner. Probably best handles. Him, maybe Kyrie and Steph I throw in there in terms of what I've seen in the league. But did he change the game? That was my thing. Steph changed the way we play basketball. It used to be, I graduated high school in 96. And from there forward, I'm dead center Bulls dynasty or whatever. So it's always been like inside out type ball. And the Bulls were the first ones really that played more guard play, and the centers weren't as important. Nowadays, the centers are like not important at all. Like,
yeah,
you don't really
it's
need them at
funny
all.
you mentioned that. I heard someone compare centers in the NBA to running backs in the NFL.
Ooh, that's actually a pretty good comparison.
At one point in time, the running back was the most pivotal player in your offense, and you ran everything around your running back. And it was the same thing back in the day with your centers in the NBA. They were like, they were the stars of the team. They were the big men. And now those positions have been devalued to the point where it's like they're almost an afterthought to teams.
Yeah, definitely. Check out Believe in Panthers. Myself, Skylar Callahan, and Panthers all-time leading rusher Jonathan Stewart, who has plenty to say on that topic in terms of the running backs being devalued and why that shouldn't be, and just all that. Definitely go check that out. You can watch that here on youtube.com/@Tobacco Road Sports Radio in the Believe in Panthers playlist. New episode just came out 2 days ago, so definitely go check that out. Last question for today's show: the Panthers and the New York Jets are going to be having joint practices next week. Like I said, it's Wednesday and Thursday. You can go through Ticketmaster. The tickets are free. The first 5,000 fans through the gate will receive a rally towel for the Panthers. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out a way to get down there myself. I probably will make the drive. Are these practices are in the morning, right?
Yeah, for the most part. I think
Panthers
is the only one in the afternoon.
What time do they start in the mornings?
The joint practice, I think the last practice is going to start. That's the earliest. It's going to start at 9. They usually been starting anywhere from 9:15. I think the latest is started at 11. So I'm about 10:15. I'm sorry. So they start roughly about 10:15. The latest I've seen them start is 11.
So that means for me, I'd have to get up at like 6 in the morning.
Yeah,
that's what I had to do both the days I went out. I got up at 5 just to make sure I had time to drink coffee, get ready.
Go to the Charlotte traffic.
And I always tell people get there at least 30, 40 minutes early. And now I suggest get there about an hour early because
especially for this one.
Especially if you're going to joint practices, dude. The parking is going to fill up quickly. So I suggest going out.
Hotel room. I might just come down the night before and get a hotel room in Charlotte and then drive in like an hour that morning because I'm not a morning person at all. Like that sounds like struggle bus for me to get up that early for it. But yeah,
it was worth it.
So yeah, I need to go do it. I need to go do it. I'm probably going to do it. I'll put something on Twitter, let people know if I'm coming down or not, because I do want to get one of these subs. So
that'll be the first time. That'll be the first time that we're actually going to see what our guys do against other competition.
Yes, and that's what I want to see. But my question here was: there's a lot of hype with the New York Jets. People forget they just picked the top 10 of the draft right here with us this past couple months ago. Are you buying the Jets hype right now in terms of them winning the AFC East, making a deep run? Are you buying the Jets hype?
Yeah, them winning the AFC East is insane. They're still in the same division with the Bills, so that's insane to think. I think they're going to be a better team. You get Aaron Rodgers. I like Salah. So I think their defense is going to be. I think their defense is going to be as advertised. I'll be honest. I think they have a good defensive core. They got pieces, bro. It's just if Aaron Rodgers can turn the ship around. So it's going. I'm not going to say they're going to win the division. Do I think they can sneak into the playoffs? I believe so. Playing in the AFC is going to be the thing, though. It's like just making the playoffs in the AFC isn't going to be good enough.
There's like 12 teams that are good in the AFC.
Right. You can make argument for about like you said, 12 different teams that can make the playoffs in the AFC. So that's not going to be good enough. But I think they're going to be a lot better. I think it's going to be a good litmus test for us. You got Quinn Williams up there. You got Sauce Walker on the back end as well. So it's going to be a good test for our offense. And defensively, no better quarterback is to test your defense against the Aaron Rodgers. So I'm kind of believing the hype a little bit, just a little bit though.
What are your thoughts, Cody? You buying this Jets hype going on right now?
The only reason why I'm hesitant is because you can make the argument that they're in one of the better divisions in the NFL. They got to go to the Buffalo Bills. Everybody's predicting Miami to be really good again. I don't know. The another thing that makes me have some pause on the Jets is that they got so many new pieces, right? Like I don't know if it's just as simple as, hey, drop in Aaron Rodgers and then everything's going to be great again. Like, I'm not entirely sure what their offensive line is looking like.
They
If
got a
they
good
have
offensive
that.
line, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
Okay.
they've been building the past couple of
Yeah, I
seasons,
know
and
they've
Robert Saleh's a
drafted a
good
few
coach.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, they've drafted a few guys, and then I don't know. So it's hard for me to like really bet on them. In fact, I'd probably say no if I'm just going off my gut feeling. I mean, I'm sure that they'll have some wins, but I just, I don't see them. You already mentioned the AFC. I mean, think about, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Chargers. Like, there's just so many teams out there. It's a murderer's row, and for all
yeah.
those reasons, why it's hard to believe in the Jets, it makes it easier to believe in the Panthers because there's not a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFC.
There's like
At
three
least
good
not.
teams, it feels like, in the NFC, like
Yeah.
the Eagles, the 49ers, and then it kind of
Yeah.
drifts off into like Cowboy land and some others. But
Mm,
I'm not hearing good things about Dak Prescott right now, in terms of
no.
turnovers or whatnot. Like, I don't know if he's going to be there next year. Like, it's
Well, I'm
got to
not
that point.
hearing good things about Desmond Ritter either.
Yeah. There was I put a video out early of Tampa, Baker Mayfield, and was it Kyle Trask? And they're
Yeah.
just missing receivers, like the line, like the receivers
Yeah.
going out, and they're just missing them. Like it's just like
That
someone
makes me
cut like
smile.
8 of them in a row. Them just
Yeah.
throwing the ball high and throwing it
But
over
did y'all see
here.
the video that Steve Smith posted? Like the Falcons posted a clip of one of their quarterbacks throwing an interception, but it didn't show who the quarterback was.
Who threw that ball?
Who threw that ball? Steve Smith is incredible, man.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, shout out to Smitty, who he watches all this kind of stuff. He jumped into the Believe in Panthers chat box a couple months ago, so you never know. He's lurking. He's out there somewhere, so he might be watching your stuff. There's a lot of Panther content creators that I've gotten a chance to get to know. I love the community. I saw you guys all met up afterwards in Spartanburg and had a good time. I think it was a restaurant or something. So loving that, loving the vibes, and I love that they're bringing the culture back, and I love that we're all excited to produce content on this because we all were producing content on this when it was a dumpster fire. It was really, really hard. Like looking back on it, like to come up with competent, good content. And now it's like a blessing. Like it all flipped on a dime, So I'm ready. Excited for it to get going. We're going to be more of a regular schedule now as we get out of training camp into the preseason schedule. And then finally the regular season. I think we're going to be going on Thursdays. I think that's what we had, I think we had discussed this before. We're going to be on Thursdays. And I think we're going in the mornings. I think we're going in the mornings on Thursdays. Yeah. Oh, well, we have to because I got stuff going on Thursday night.
Thursday at 10:30.
Yeah. So check for us Thursdays here on the Tobacco Road Sports Radio YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Tobacco Road Sports Radio. If you hit the subscribe button, you'll get a notification whenever we go live. So you can make preparations, you can plan your lunch around it, you can do whatever you got to do. So you can sit down and chop it up with us live. This will be on the Keep Pounding Podcast network powered by the Fans First Sports Network. The audio of this will be up a little bit later on today. So you'll be able to listen to that throughout the weekend. We got to get out of here. It's a busy Friday. We all got things we got to go attend to. So everybody be safe this week. Everybody be safe this weekend. And we will see you next week.